All right, everybody, let's take a look at this Seiko SSG001. So I just got a new phone slash camera. So hopefully this is going to autofocus and look better. Actually, it already looks like it is. It's already, man, that is so much nicer. Anyways, this is a pretty cool watch. I should have looked up when it came out. I think the mid teens. I want to say somewhere between 2010 and 2015. It is not branded as a Seiko Coutura. That's a line that I think most enthusiasts aren't familiar with. It's just not in. They look more like fashion watches. I think they appeal to a very everyday crowd, but maybe watch enthusiasts typically don't go for that vibe. But the it is an SSG, and all the Couturas also start with SSG. So I'm thinking it's a precursor or a part of that same family. So what makes it interesting is it is a solar watch, but not just solar, but radio syncing solar. And yeah, so I'm a big fan of Casio, Citizen, and Seiko, Japanese watches. And I have a bunch of Citizens and Casios that are radio reception, but I had none from Seiko. So I wanted to see what theirs did. And I picked one of these up. So, first thing, when it comes to the different models, this is the SSG001. It is steel with, a black inlay here. This is a slide bezel. It's friction, but it's really nice. It's really smooth. There's an SSG003. For some reason, Seiko does like odd numbers for the most part. Then they come back later, years later, and they fill in the evens. The SSG003 is the same watch, but it's black IP coated. There's an SSG005, which is this watch, but it's on a brown leather strap. And there's the SSG007, which is also black IP coated, but it's like a special edition. It has some accent colors here and there. There's some sports team that that it's for. Anyways, when I saw it, I said, you know what? It's a complicated watch, right? There's a lot going on here, but some watches pull that off better than others. So this watch, you can compartmentalize the complexity pretty well. I think the indices are nice and visible. The sword hands are nice and visible. So I wanted to see what it was all about. And yeah, I think it holds up pretty well. So maybe I'll give a quick tour of it. You obviously have the time, the hour and minutes central. You have the running seconds over here. You have a 24-hour gauge here. You have date. And this at the bottom is the chronograph minutes, and then you have chronograph seconds. One thing that I like about it, there's no modes that you have to go in and out of. Everything is just available where it is. That might make it more complicated. There's four pushers. A lot of Citizens, you pull out the mode dial and you switch it around, and you only have like one or two pushers. But at any time, it's a chronograph, push to start, 2 o'clock, just like most. While it's running, you can have a split time, and it would remember it's still running in the background, and I can resume, and you see it's sped up to catch. I could stop. I could resume the actual timing, and of course you can get like a first place finish and then a second place finish, and then you can actually review, and then you see that. And once you're all done, you press this to reset. And that's that for the chrono. That's a typical chronograph watch. These pushers only do that. This pusher over here, though, it's like a time check. Let's see. Yeah. So you saw that hand on that sub dial at 9 o'clock go to end. That means the last time it tried to sync, it did not. It failed. Um, and if it had succeeded, it would point to Y. If I press and hold this button in, it'll do a manual synchronization. It'll attempt to reach out to the atomic time, and it takes like a minute, so I don't really want to demo it. But, well, I could start it. I could press and hold this, and you'll see this little hand there. It'll go point up. After like a minute, that hand will point to H for high reception, L for low, and then it takes another couple of minutes, and then it'll set the time. And if it can't, it'll point to N for no. If it succeeds, it'll point to Y for yes. And it does attempt to do this automatically at night. I don't know the times. I think it tries at midnight, tries again at like 1, something like that. I wonder if I could back out of it. Yeah, I can just press that button to go back to time. And then lastly, this pusher here, you do need to set the time zone on this, and different time zones correspond with different places in the world. So if you press this, it just does nothing. If you press and hold it, the second hand kind of turns into a pointer for your time zone. And I'm, well, right. And I can go, which is the forward and back? Maybe I can only go, oh no, so I can go backwards too. So I can go backwards a time zone one at a time. And, there's no place in the world that has reception towers like north and south of one another. So if you're in a time zone in the Americas, it'll just try to connect to those. That's these time zones. Japan, same thing. So this watch also doesn't really know about or care about daylight saving. So if you wanted daylight saving to be on, you have to just go ahead a time zone. So that's why I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, time zone wise. It's actually kind of simple and straightforward. If I just wait like 10 seconds, it'll sync up. And that's the tour of the watch, 6 minutes in. Nothing really complicated. This is a screw down crown. One position out sets the date, two positions out sets the hand. It's fully motorized, so it's not like a direct mechanical link. You kind of like give it a spin and what did I do? Am I totally wrong? Do I not spin it? Oh yeah, it's just a mode, and then once I'm in that mode, okay, all right, so I'm mistaken. I haven't even needed to ever do that. I just use the atomic time setting function. Wow. All right. Well, that being said, I think it's a nice looking watch. It's pretty handsome. The one issue with it, I knew when I got it, it was going to be a big watch. But sometimes you don't realize how big until you actually get your hands on it. So I have another Seiko here. This is a pretty cool, very recent solar, not atomic. Um, let's see. It's like 48 millimeters. It's huge. I'm going to go right outside that. So, I mean, by this measurement, it's a 50 millimeter watch. If I just measure the bezel, I get down to 47 or so. That is 54 lug to lug, and it's not that thick. It's 13 mils thick, but yeah, overall a pretty cool watch. A couple years ago, you'd see one or two of these for sale at any one time. That really hasn't been the case lately. I haven't seen one of these come up for sale in quite a while. Um, so yeah, I guess it's a rare watch now. Let's put it on. Almost forgot the most important thing. Oh yeah, so milled clasp, but solid lengths, solid end lengths. Most radio controlled watches, they're not screw back. I think the just to make the back a little thinner, a little more likely for a signal to get through. And yeah, there you go. I could pull this off. I have 7.5 inch wrists. I think it's pretty cool. That's Yeah, I like it. It's bigger than I thought. I knew it would be big, but sometimes you just have to put it on. I think the fact that there are four pushers that always makes it even bigger than you think. But on the whole, a really cool Seiko. And I think if you're like me and you wanted to get a Seiko that actually has radio atomic time and see what it's like, this is a good bet. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to use one of. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to learn how to use this. There's no point. I'm just going to have watches that have these. I'm going to spin them around, and until I die, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll learn how that works one day. Actually, when I was a child, I knew how it works. It's just a standard slide bezel, but there's just no point. thought I would just show this off. I still don't have like a way to get dark, but I can give it some UV and you can see it shine. And it's pretty good. Actually, I can make it a little darker in here. That's something. Yeah, pretty cool little watch. Or big watch. And that's the SSG001. Thank you very much.